The resurgence of Marine Le Pen in the complex landscape of French politics. Marine Le Pen's recent performance, where she adeptly navigated the challenging questions posed by Christiane Amanpour, highlights her growing political acumen. Amanpour, a notable figure within establishment media such as CNN, has been criticized for bias, a critique famously amplified by Donald Trump labeling such outlets as fake news. Unlike many contemporary leaders who shy away from direct confrontation in favor of political correctness, Le Pen's straightforward approach echoes Trump's unapologetic style, appealing to a segment of the electorate disillusioned with traditional politics. Media bias and political correctness. The rise of populist figures like Trump and Le Pen is partly a reaction to the perceived bias in mainstream media and the constraints of political correctness. These leaders argue that media outlets often misrepresent or vilify those challenging the status quo, using labels such as extreme right or anti-Semitic to discredit them. This tactic, however, has begun to lose its effectiveness, particularly in light of complex geopolitical issues like the Gaza conflict. The international community's reaction to Israel's actions in Gaza has shifted, with increasing criticism and a decline in the automatic deference that once characterized discussions about Israeli policies. As a result, accusations of anti-Semitism are increasingly seen as deflections from substantive critiques, diminishing their potency. The French political landscape. Marine Le Pen's potential success in the upcoming French elections marks a pivotal moment in French political history. Historically, her party, the National Rally, formerly the National Front, has been marginalized, but current socio-political dynamics have shifted in her favor. President Emmanuel Macron's policies, often viewed as authoritarian, have drawn comparisons to a fascist state, ironically positioning Le Pen as a more moderate alternative in the eyes of some voters. The complexity of French politics is not new. In 1981, when François Mitterrand was elected, there was widespread fear that France would veer sharply left towards socialism or communism. Contrary to these fears, Mitterrand's policies were more conservative than anticipated, even compared to those of his predecessor, Valéry Giscard d'Estaing, who had led a government with a left-leaning image under a right-wing guise. This historical context underscores the unpredictable nature of French politics and the potential for significant ideological shifts. Security issues and migration problems. One of the critical issues impacting France and influencing the electorate's sentiments is the ongoing security concerns and migration problems. Under Nicolas Sarkozy's administration, 2007 to 2012, France adopted a more stringent approach to immigration and emphasized security reforms. Sarkozy's government introduced policies aimed at curbing illegal immigration, tightening border controls, and increasing police presence to address urban violence and terrorism threats. Despite criticism for these policies being too harsh, they resonated with many voters concerned about national security. In contrast, Macron's administration has faced significant challenges related to immigration and security. France has experienced several high-profile terrorist attacks, contributing to a climate of fear and uncertainty. The influx of migrants and refugees, particularly from conflict zones in the Middle East and North Africa, has exacerbated social tensions and strained public resources. Critics argue that Macron's policies have been ineffective in addressing these issues, leading to a perception of a lack of control and security within the country. Le Pen has capitalized on these concerns, advocating for stricter immigration controls, enhanced border security, and a more aggressive stance on law and order. Her platform appeals to voters who feel that current policies are insufficient to protect French identity and security. The comparison to Sarkozy's era, where a more hardline approach seemed to yield better control, further bolsters her position among those longing for a return to stricter governance. Macron's strategy and the risk of a national rally majority. Macron's continued use of divisive tactics, despite their historical ineffectiveness, suggests a calculated risk. He is likely aware that these strategies may polarize the electorate further, but he seems to be banking on a fragmented opposition. However, this approach overlooks a critical threat, the possibility of the national rally securing a majority. If Le Pen's party gains substantial parliamentary support, Macron's presidency could be significantly undermined, if not outright imperiled. Conclusion. Marine Le Pen's rise and the broader political dynamics in France reflect a global trend of populist movements challenging entrenched political establishments. The interplay of media influence, political correctness, security issues, and historical precedents creates a volatile but fascinating political landscape. As France approaches a crucial election, the potential for a major realignment looms large, with the outcomes likely to resonate beyond its borders. The electorate's concerns over immigration and security, compounded by the perceived failures of the current administration, make Le Pen's candidacy a significant force in shaping the future of French politics.